Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project and Magnetic Reversal News. Bringing you a grand solar minimum update. Wednesday, July 3rd, 1 a.m. Mountain Time 2019. You're looking at the sun. The last 24 hours on the sun, to be sure. And you can see that coronal hole, Earth facing, turning around the disk, as well as an active region, which has no sunspots, trailing. Now, these coronal holes, when they turn Earth-facing, typically are associated with some of the largest earthquakes on the planet. We'll get to that soon, but we need you to keep calm, kids. It's boom time. Severe storms rumble from the Midwest to the Appalachians into Tuesday night. Worse than slowing travel and disrupting outdoor plans, thunderstorms can turn locally damaging across portions of the Midwestern and Eastern U.S. into Tuesday, which will be your lose day. The areas of risk for locally severe storms will stretch from Iowa to southern New York State, central PA, western Virginia, and western Maryland. While tree and power line damage from the storms may only hit a small fraction of the communities within this corridor, residents and travelers throughout the area should make sure to keep a close eye out for rapidly changing weather conditions throughout the day. Many hundreds of thousands of people, even millions, will be traveling through this region for the 4th of July holiday. Any of these thunderstorms could be strong, if not severe, with flooding downpours, hail, and damaging winds, according to AccuWeather. Heads up Detroit, Buffalo, and Chi-Town. Isolated coverage, intense downpours, travel disruptions, and AccuWeather Local Storm Max trademarked winds up to 70 miles per hour. And that's tonight's first boom. Trademark winds. I love those winds. Have you heard about winds of Hurricane Barbara exploding from tropical storm to major Cat 4 hurricane in just 24 hours? Hours of powers. Do a dab. There's no sound. By the way, just a spinning, glorious system. Now, as we watch this intensification occur before your very eyes and before your very lives, this baby is headed towards the Hawaiian Islands, July 9th, to make landfall, potentially Monday, which will not be their fun day. But because it's going to be hitting cooler waters, should be reduced in intensity and arrive as a tropical storm or a minor Cat 1-2 storm. But we'll be watching this closely. Anything is possible, because weather can change. On a dime. Space weather, much. White screen, much. Holy boom! Have you heard about the corn reports? USDA reports surprise sends the corn market reeling. This just happened days ago. Now what happened here was they claimed that, oh yeah, this corn's planted, it's all good, and the prices dropped. Oh. But they're playing tricks on you. They are playing tricks on you. The USDA's incomplete report coming to light just yesterday. What's going on here? According to this disclaimer, this particular author does not buy into the conspiracy theories that the USDA makes the numbers whatever, quote unquote, those in power or influence want them to be. Well, something is afoot. And it should be up Al Gore's arse. Ha! But the facts are in that the planting is the lowest it's ever been in a century. And we have a lot of things coming. Tropical Storm Mun to bring flooding mudslides to China and Vietnam this week. One of them. As well as this little swirly puff Barbara out in the Pacific heads towards Hawaii. A tropical depression that formed in the South China Sea on Monday strengthened into Tropical Storm Mun on Tuesday and will bring their lose day of heavy rainfall to parts of China and Vietnam this week. Tropical Storm Mun continues on the heels of Tropical Depression Ige, which helped spark heavy rainfall across the Philippines in recent days before dissipating. This one, however, looks a little bigger. Just a tippy-touch downpours through Friday, including flooding, mudslides, loss of life, gusty winds, and death. Sanyaya through Hanoi. Heads up. While the threat of flooding has ended across the Philippines, this risk will be on the increase across parts of southeast China and northern Vietnam in the coming days. Slow track means extra flooding. Cosmic ray increase means extra rain. Cloud nucleation. River flooding in Tennessee ruins cotton and soybean crops. Yes, and the destruction of your crops. Why do you think he's fishing? Yeah, no produce. Heads up. Ripley, Tennessee, wearing wading boots and a wide-brimmed hat, Derek Curie casts his green fishing line into a pool of brown water along the rural Tennessee road. Right there. It looks like he's got 4 of them, which is illegal, by the way. His fishing hole looks like a lake. Officials say 175,000 acres of farmland are now underwater, which is the worst time of year for this to occur. Once again, the cotton and soybean crops in Tennessee under threat. Russia's Siberia hit by the worst floods in 100 years. Heavy rainfall has flooded dozens of villages in Russia's southeast Siberia, leaving 18 people dead, 13 missing. Homes and livestock have been lost in the summer floods, as well as crops. State of emergency has been declared in Siberia's Irkutsk region, where river levels have risen to flood and destroy dozens of villages, people's homes, and farms and their lives. You're not going to see that on CNN. 32 dead as worst flooding in the decade hits Mumbai. Mumbai's vulnerability to floods has increased in recent years because of a construction boom, increased cosmic rays, and there they are pulling up their skirts. It's getting wet out, kids. Now, primary cosmic particles enter our upper atmosphere through the ionosphere, cascading down through secondary cosmic particles, which form a cascade into the atmosphere, causing more cascades of cascading cosmic rays into the terrestrial cosmic particles through your body and through the Earth, changing your DNA, all the while increasing the albedo effect and flooding your arse off. Seismic update, no quakes of note. A cacophony of quakes in northern Alaska, starting with 5.3 and multiple aftershocks. We have evidence of the earth swelling here at the mid-ocean ridge, 5.8 on the Carlsberg. Bizarre quake off the mid-ocean South Australian ridge. Good times. This coronal hole just turning past Earth. And here you can see that coronal hole power going Earth to Sun and then Sun to Earth here. We've coupled with the coronal hole about 30 hours ago, and we're dipping down Sun to Earth, pure Sun to Earth here. We want to keep out of this 185 angle range. But we're going to be watching the seismicity closely as it dances in that danger zone. Alert level increased at world's largest volcano in Hawaii. It's true. Federal officials raised the alert level Tuesday for the world's largest active volcano, Hawaii's Mauna Loa, which last erupted in 1984. The U.S. Geologic Survey changed the level from normal to advisory following a steady increase in earthquakes and ground swelling that began in March. Oh my goodness. Antarctic sea ice level has shrunk to record low for late June. Now, this is coming after we had hit all-time records in 2013. Record levels in 2013, all-time records. Now we're at record lows. Just 2 years after they announced that thousands of volcanoes are erupting underneath Antarctica. Wow. That's not really news, is it? But they want to blame it on you. But I digress. Worldwide volcano news update. Sabancaya just puffing to 30,000 feet moments ago. Adding more injections near our stratosphere. Explosive activity continues at Sabancaya. Buenos Aires warned of an ash plume that rose 30,000 feet altitude. Not only that, we have Fuego, Klucheskov, Popo, Krakatoa, Shivalush. The Kamchatka is rocking. Tucono, Reventador. And on and on. Come check it out. I'm waiting for the big one. Total solar eclipse 2019. First photos of the phenomenon. Yeah, look at that. Amazing. Tourists from all over the world flock to see something I've seen almost half a dozen times. I've seen it twice at the super blood moon. Tech companies have been silently battling a bizarre phenomenon called cosmic rays. Who ever heard of those? that would otherwise wreak havoc on our electronics. This is coming out now. Cosmic rays from exploding stars outside our solar system can cause electronics to malfunction. The phenomenon is thought to have thrown off the voting numbers during an important election in Belgium, even caused braking issues in Toyota vehicles in 2009. That was a solar minimum. Cosmic radiation is a concern to astronauts, people on the Earth, and especially during a magnetic reversal to evolution as we know it. But it's well managed in electronics and is almost a non-event in today's standards. The only difference is today's standards were built on yesterday's cosmic radiation levels. And they are going up, up, and away, folks. According to this article, it is so well controlled, in fact, that few even know they could have an impact on them. Well, I'll tell you what. When those 30,000 satellites start falling on your head, you'll understand what this paper means. Cosmic ray failures of power semiconductor devices. It's happening now, and we've known about it for years. And you know who's warning you about it? I am. Are you reading up about the woman killed by flesh-eating bacteria in the Gulf Coast? It's disgusting. A 77-year-old woman from Allentown was infected by a flesh-eating bacteria and died nearly 2 weeks after she fell and scraped her leg while walking at Anna Maria Island. Now, this case came just 2 weeks after the mother of a 12-year-old Indiana girl wrote on Facebook that she believed her daughter contracted the same infection during a trip to Destin in early June. Heads up. Necrotizing fasciitis, an infection caused by bacteria, not fascists, that stops blood circulation and causes tissue to die and skin to decay, is absolutely being disgusting. What are your chances of catching it if you go in the water? Well, why would you go in the water to begin with? And if your flesh is rotting, should you take it seriously? Well, I think gangrene is pretty much a, yeah. How do you catch it? Well, you swim in the waters where it is. Tampa Bay, stay away. And that's a boom. Don't do it. Don't swim in the brackish water. Don't do it. NASA Hubble Space Telescope takes stunning image of galactic fireworks show. It's not even the 4th, and NASA's already playing games. Ahead of the 4th of July, NASA's showing off impressive fireworks display that is really out of this world. In fact, it's a Z-pinch, folks, and they don't even use that terminology, but we will. And they were claiming this is from a binary system, but when you just break it down to radio waves, there's a single star in the middle of this pinch, which is predicted by the electric universe model. Dozens of plasma physicists and cosmologists worldwide, and not a single in person is listening to us. It's awesome. Can you hear the crickets? Did you hear about the flesh-eating bacteria? Well, I'm just about to vomit in my... Hey, understand, prepare, adapt, and thrive. That's what we talk about on this channel. And that's what our friend David Dubine over at Adapt 2030 talks about every day. How the sun will affect society, economy, and food prices. Have you heard about his new book? Yeah, I got a copy. You know why? Because I mentioned several times in it, Climate Revolution, the Grand Solar Minimum. Have you been looking for the one source of information which links you to everything you need to know about surviving and thriving in the future? Well, look no further. It is the newest ebook by David Dubine, Bill, and Richard Porter. And I will not steer you wrong. Do you know why? Because our channel earns money every single book you purchase. So you don't have to be a Patreon. You don't have to give me $20 and PayPal. You can buy the book so you can survive and thrive in the future and learn something before the grid fails. Start now. Learn about Zarkova, the double dynamo theory, sunspots, the relational cycle, John Eddy, standard sunspots, sunspot history, butterfly diagrams, everything we talk about, the history of past grand solar minimas, the history of solar cycles, global history, prehistory, how the grand solar minimum will affect climate, increase rainfall, decrease solar activity effects, magnetosphere, solar storms. And that's just the first page of the intro, kids. We're not done yet. No, not even by a... We're not done. We're only on page 3. Look at this. Look at what we have here. Animal feeds. Grand solar minimum solutions. The methane lie. Food solutions. Tools for increased production. Seed companies. Best crops. Regenerative soil management. Animal feeds. Food production. On and on. Everything you need to know to survive and thrive in the future. How do you get it? You look below this video for the link in the description box. You click on the link and you get Climate Revolution, I think for $12. It's over 200 pages, and it is an ebook which links you to hundreds, if not thousands, of sources on everything I just discussed. It would literally take you a lifetime to read it all. That's how deep and thorough this is. Get it now. Climate Revolution, the Grand Solar Minimum. Do a dab. Buy the book. Stay up all night. Learn something. Proper prior planning prevents piss poor performance. We love each and every one of you. Thanks to all of our supporters, especially our Patreons. Without you, I would not be staying up at night, working 16-hour days. But you make me feel good. And this information is important. David Dubine stayed up for weeks, finishing and editing that book. Do us all a favor. Support the work we do. Buy the book. Increase your preparedness. Learn something. And most importantly, be safe. We love you.